All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and tonight we have one of my favorite MCs to ever grace the hip-hop industry, man. We got the one and only Ron C of Nemesis right here live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
Best by the best, never stress, never less, man. It's an honor and a privilege to be on the radio with you, partner.
Hey, man, it's an honor to have you here, man. You know, I grew up listening to your music, brother, and thank you, just in advance, thank you so much for years of amazing music, man. You definitely, hands down, put together some of the best projects to ever grace Southern hip-hop.
I mean a lot coming from you, man. Thank you so much.
But I want to take you back to the beginning, man, of your amazing career, and I have to ask, man, how did the legendary Ron C actually, get into the music industry, man? Like, what actually sparked your passion for music?
Growing up in the Bay Area, I used to hear a lot of music. I grew up on, Run DMC, Bad Boys, a lot of East Coast rap. I didn't hear a lot of West Coast rap where I was at. I heard a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I didn't hear a lot of music until I moved from the Bay Area to L.A. Then I got on to some, other stuff. And the person that probably really influenced me at first was Eazy-E. And I heard what he talked about, and then I knew people who knew him, and I knew he was living like that. And I was thought it was authentic, when he made those songs, actually talking about what he did. And by this time in my life, I was kind of getting towards the wrong side of the road, and I started talking about what I did as well. So I kind of catered my style to Eazy style, and I give him 100% credit on that.
And also, in the late 1980s, you actually inked a deal with Profile Records, man. I was wondering, how did that record deal initially come to be for you? And of course, what was it like being signed to that imprint back in the late 80s?
The deal came about, I started my label called Max Time Records with the help of a couple people, from my circle. We sold tapes out the trunk at the gas station, at the mall, at the parks, wherever I was at, whatever city I was in, I was selling tapes. And back then, I had an EP called Trendsetter, $5 a pop. And I was moving maybe 1,000 tapes every other day. Then it went from 1,000 tapes to 5,000 tapes, and then went to 10,000 tapes, and it was going so fast. This late 88, 89, and Profile called Wind of It, Priority called Wind of It, Luke Skywalker Records called Wind of It. 5 or 6 labels started reaching out to me. And I was having some legal problems at the time as well. I had a case pending where I was possibly going to jail, so I was like, well, make a record and then deal with the other stuff at the end, and Profile gave me the best opportunity. They signed me, and they also signed my homeboys, Nemesis, at the same time, so it was like a 2-for-1 deal, and we was all connected. So it worked out good for me at that time.
And I gotta say as well, that's phenomenal that during that bidding war, man, Luke Skywalker Records, man, actually reached out to you, man. That must have been surreal and such a hard decision at the time, man, is having so many amazing labels with amazing rosters to actually choose from.
The Luke deal was kind of, it was, I have respect for Luke. The Luke deal was funny. I was at home, and my partner called me like at 2 in the morning, like, Luke want to sign you. He want to send your ticket to go to Miami, and he going to have you at this hotel, and you going to rock with 2 Live Crew. And I was hyped up, and I said, okay, let's do the business. And he sent a contract probably within 24 hours, and it probably was big as a book. And I was like, I don't know what this stuff is saying. I don't know nothing. I knew he said, I'm going to pay you $30,000 and sign this paperwork and come to Miami. And I got an entertainment lawyer, and he said I wouldn't get paid for 10 years if I signed that contract. I was going to get paid I wouldn't own nothing. I wouldn't get paid for nothing. The $30,000 would be something that I would one-time fee. And I was like, man, I just kind of looked at the industry like, man, that was hella shiesty because, pretty much it was no Vaseline, so I didn't sign with Luke. So I respect him, but it wasn't no good deal for me.
And I gotta say, you know what? I gotta say, man, not a lot of artists actually, had a lawyer look at their stuff back in the day. A lot of artists just saw 30 grand and was like cha-ching and went for it, man. It just proves that you actually had that mentality as well to be like, no, man, I need to get this looked at.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because $30,000 was not a lot of money. I'm coming from a different lifestyle where I'm in the streets, so I wasn't tripping on the 30. I was actually just a fan of Luke, and I'm young. I'm 18, so I want to go to Miami. I want to see those 2 Live Crew dances. I ain't never been to Miami. I want to go to that lifestyle. But then some cooking said, you won't get paid, and you got to make 5 albums, and he got to recoup all his money off top before he give you anything. And if you don't see what he wants you to see, he doesn't have to pay you nothing. You tied in. So I seen the artist that was on his label, and I heard the stories. I knew how stuff was. I was in the know, and I was like, man, that's not a good deal. And I just chose to give a Profile. I was gonna give a priority. The Profile was like, they're my homeboys, we can all do it together, and you know, some homeboy stuff, and the money was cool. They still gave me 40,000, so that was decent.
And I gotta ask as well, man, because one of my most favorite records that you actually put out was Back on the Street, that dropped in the year 1992. And I've always wondered, man, what's the story behind that iconic record, man? Because in my personal opinion, that album will always be solidified within hip hop history.
Thank you, man. That album actually, like I told you, I was having a little pending trouble, and I made my first album, which was Theus, and before it came out, I was in jail, and I was sent to prison. So while I was in jail, you know, that record did pretty good. It was selling records, and, you know, they was pushing it. They made a video without me being in the video. They wrote me, told me, gave me updates. I got out of jail. I did 2 years. When I got out of jail, the record had already went gold with no promotion, no help, or nothing. So I started to take the business a little serious. I said, let me make it a career. So Back on the Street was actually a testament to my situation. I just got out of jail. Went to the studio a week later, made the album, put it out, went on tour. First time really doing shows, major shows. Went on the Shorty the Pimp tour. Too Short, DJ Quick, Spice One, N2D. Did about, 20 cities. And I was just like, man, I love this life. I love this music. I love this, this whole little vibe. So Back on the Streets was a testament to my situation. I had just got out of.
And I gotta say as well, man, you know what I mean? Like, it must have been, like you said, surreal to actually just be able to go on tour and actually eat off a record, man. You know what I mean? And I gotta say, my favorite joint off that has always been Madman. I don't know, that's one of the songs I always go to when I put on that record, man. I always skip near the end, play Madman, and then I listen to the rest of the record.
Right, yeah, that Madman's a dope piece. Shout out to Willie Fresh, he did that record for me. Yeah, I mean, it was just different, man. Like I said, I had attention in a different era as far as, my lifestyle. And it was like pretty much some drugs and street stuff. But when they go to a concert and see people, and they there for the headline always. But then when I started getting a little attention, when I used to go do shows with other artists, they like, man, they like you here. I'm in Kentucky, I'm in Alabama, I'm in places where I never would go for music. And now I'm here for music.
In 1992, yourself, alongside your brother, Gangsta C, actually collaborated with UGK on the song Texas. I was wondering, how did yourself and your brother get connected with UGK? And of course, what was it like just working on that project?
UGK, I had a concert in Houston, and they came up to me. I didn't know who they were. They weren't UGK yet. They had like a song that was kind of bubbling, but I had just met him that night. But Pimp C was a fan, and he walked into me. I actually met Ron B first, and he said, my brother want to meet you. And I was like, okay. We backstage. First time Pimp C walked up on me, he sung my lyrics, the funky lyrics, verbatim, word for word, and just started laughing. And I was like, who's this little country dude? They cool. So, we was hanging out, talking. And then that night after I met them, I looked them up and found their record. And I think it was that was a nice record too, man. It was on their first EP, but I forgot the name of the song, but I liked the record. And they would come to Dallas a lot, and do shows. They were coming up, and of course, they were on Gyro Records. I had friends at Gyro, like Too Short, my home place. So, I kept seeing them on the road. And one night they called me, Pimp called me, said, "Man, come get on this record." I was like, "Cool." I got my brother with me. I'm working on music with him right now. He's like, "Bring him over here." So my brother met him the same night. I had already knew Pimp. I had already knew Bun. I had already knew DJ Bird, and we had, different people in our crew. We knew each other, so we did the record. We was kicking it, and it was a good situation. Pimp C really liked the record a lot. I didn't want to put the record on the actual album. I think it's on the flip side of Use Me Up on a 12-inch, but we had plans for a video and everything, and it was a good situation. And I really, miss Chad. That's my boy, and big respect to Bun B. He's still tight to this day.
And if you don't mind me asking, why didn't Jive want to put that song actually on the record, man? Because that song's an absolute banger, man. Even still to this day.
He wanted to put it on the album. They put it on the single on the flip side. He wanted it on the album. It was supposed to be on the. I forgot the name of the album. I think it was going to be on their second album. He wanted it on the album, but they put it on the B side. So back in the game, you used to have one single, the other side had a backup single. They don't do it no more. But it was on the B side of a single, so they didn't push the record. The label pushed the record, so it's politics, now. But the record did good. They made some money off of it, you know, and it's a good situation. People know that record today, especially in the South, because, you know, of course, Pimp C is legendary, gonna be legendary, and, you know, put us together in a good situation. We never performed that record together at all, and before Pimp C died, when he got out of prison, we were talking, and he was talking about doing a remix of the record possibly, and I was like, I was all in, and then maybe, I don't know, 3-4 months later, I got the bad news that he passed away.
And also, as well, you were actually a member of the iconic Dallas, Texas hip-hop group Nemesis, man. I was wondering, how did you become a member of that iconic group? And, of course, how did you actually meet the other members initially?
But Nemesis had a member and a beat maker in the group named DJ Snake. DJ Snake knew some of my friends from my other life, you know, some of my street friends. And I used to rap around with my friends all the time, like, man, this dude named Snake make beats. Check him out. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know nothing about him. I pulled up on him, and he said he had a drum machine that he would sell me to make my own beats. This is like 1988. And I'm like, you know, 18 years old. I'm like, I can make my own beats. I don't need nobody. I can figure it out. So he sold me a 909 for $200. I go home. That's with the 909. In 10 minutes, I got frustrated because my beats, I made 2 beats and it was whack. I was like, I had the doom clack, doom clack, doom clack down, and that was it. I called the next day. I said, man, can you show me how to make beats? He was like, man, what are you trying to do? I said, I'm going to make a record. He was like, can you even, what you do, sing or rap? I said, I rap. So he said, let me hear something. And I just spit something that I was doing that day, just talking about, he said, that's what you're doing right now? I'm like, yeah. And I said, like, man, come by the house. Went by his house. I don't really know him for nothing except for this. I don't know Nemesis. I just know him from making a beat or two. First song we made was Funky Lyrics. I thought it was dope. I played it for everybody. Everybody loved it. The next day he called me 3 or 4 times, like, man, you got to come back over here. We got to do some more music. You got something. When I get over there, Nemesis is in the house. They all mean mugging me. It's about 4 or 5 of them. I think Big Al, Bubble B, Easy Rock, Ozzy, Dude Nate Castro. It's about 5 of them. They looking at me crazy. They pretty much saying, like, I'm whack. My accent sucks. You know, I ain't really hip-hop. I'm talking too much stuff about women. But I'm talking about what I know. They don't tell me, Snake tell me they don't like me. I'm like, cool, I ain't tripping. I put the record out. Record starts selling mad records. I'm doing things. I would get shows and tell Snake about the shows. I said, I could probably bring your crew. So I would get shows and bring them with me, push their business, and then we got real tight. My brother Azim left the group maybe 2 years later. Both I said, who better than Ron? Put Ron in the group. And then we was always cool. Like, they cut me in check. I joined Nemesis. We did 2 albums together. We went on tour, made a lot of money, sold a lot of records, and those guys are legends, man. Historically, they probably like the first group out of Texas as far as hip-hop, even before the Ghetto Boys, to really sell records and really do big things. They just didn't get a lot of, we didn't get a lot of attention, but we did a lot of good music and sold a lot of records. Before SoundScan, before the internet, you know, we was out there popping.
And also as well, man, in 93, Nemesis actually released the album titled Temple of Boom, where you actually co-wrote a lot of the lyrics as well, man. I was wondering, what was it like actually just, you know, co-writing that amazing record? And of course, is it still circulating the internet to be purchased today? Because I gotta say, that's another iconic record that you actually played a key role in.
Temple of Boom was a great record, man. We had fun. Did a lot of shows on that record, and everybody was tight. He was in a good place. No animosity, no jealousy. You know, groups always got bickering, and, you know, funny style. You know, I probably was the most popular person in the group at the time, but I was humble and cool. We was all friends. We hung out together. We knew each other's kids and family, so it was a good vibe. You know, we had good times on that record. Since then, my friend Big Al of Nemesis, he passed away, and but you know, Snake, Joe Mack, our team, the Bumblebee, they still around in Dallas. And again, whenever we talk, we don't talk about the record. We just talk about the good times. So it was a good time for me.
And I gotta ask as well, do you think Nemesis might come back together for like one big reunion record, or maybe like a little mini tour, like in the future?
You know, it's funny you say that, because Snake asked me, he was like, maybe 2 weeks ago, he texted me and said, man, I got a show for you. This guy want to pay you $10,000 to do this concert. And I ain't did a show in a while, and I was like, man, that's cool. He's like, nah, you can do it. I was like, nah. I just don't want to just take that money grab. I want to do it right, you know. And I said, we should just go on tour, Ron C and Nemesis as a duo, and do a big thing and make it, you know, kind of like his verses has brought back a lot of people there and make it big and make it professional, make it with a live band. So it's an opportunity and a possibility that we'll do it. You know, I think we all got our mind right, and I think it's a chance that we can possibly do that.
And also, jumping into the 2000s, man, in the year 2000, 2004, actually, you released the album, the OG Trendsetter. I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a bit more about this amazing record. And of course, do you have any plans to actually release a seventh solo album in the future?
Yeah, that record was kind of, we made that record pretty fast. I was in a different space, different vibe. I dealt with some new producers, and I liked the record, but I don't think it was my best work. And after that record, I just kind of paused for a little while, try to get back focused. I was going through some personal things when I did the record, but I mean, people still like the record, and I'm glad for the people who like the record. It's funny you asked me that. I'm actually working on music right now, so I haven't did music in over a decade plus. So I got a different platform. I do different things now as far as with my lifestyle, as far as mentoring and coaching and doing different things. But I'm still Ron C. So people find out about me that didn't know about me. They're like, oh, my daddy used to see you, my mama listens to you. They know me, they know the name, but they ain't heard music. So I made a couple songs about 4 months ago. Then I made a couple more. Now I'm sitting on 30 songs, and I'm in a situation where I could possibly have something out before Christmas, and I'm still excited about that. I have no title for the album yet, but I got about 30 songs. I'm going to chop them down about 15 and give it to the public and let them see what they're going to do with it. It's a different vibe. It's a mature Ron C. We ain't doing a lot of disrespecting women. I don't sell drugs no more, of course. So it's a grown man, but it's still hip-hop, and it's dope.
But I gotta say though, sometimes it's actually good to actually hear the mature side of an artist as well, because it really shows the growth within the artist, man. It shows the maturity, and I'm pretty sure you definitely have some of those amazing conscious hip hop songs as well.
Definitely, yeah. You can't be 40 some years old and talking about like a 20-year-old. I mean, what's the purpose? I mean, growth is growth. So it's more about more about what's going on in the world. But it's still hip hop. We having fun with it, and I say like I got 30 songs. I like probably about 25 of them. I'm gonna top it down to 15, and the people gonna be impressed. The people that's 40 and up, they gonna like, oh, I remember him. But I mean, I have a daughter that's 23, so I'll play her a record. She's like, oh, Daddy, that can't be you. I like that. I'm like, why it can't be me? Just like it. So it's dope. It's dope.
But also, on December 1st of 2015, yourself and Nemesis actually went on the Going Way Back show hosted by Money B of Digital Underground. I was wondering, how did you guys initially get connected with Money B? And of course, what was it like just being part of his podcast, man? Because he's most definitely doing a phenomenal thing with that show.
Money B, he's from the Bay Area. I'm from the Bay Area. So Money B was an actual fan of mine, and I didn't really know it. Spice One, it told me that Money B was trying to reach out to me, possibly do a song. He's back 90s or whatever. We didn't hook up, we didn't connect. But that old connection that didn't come together came together when we did that show. He knew a friend of mine who reached out to us, and we got on the show, we did it, and we just, had a good time. And Money B a cool dude. He was telling me, he was hearing about me when he was on the road doing his thing. Of course, I knew about Digital Underground, so it was always mutual respect. And, rest in peace, Shock G, but Money B been down late 90s.
And also as well, aside from the music industry, as you mentioned a few moments ago, you were actually an underground life coach. I was wondering, what actually made you decide to venture into that profession? And of course, if individuals that are listening are interested in booking you for a public speaking, how can they go about doing so?
Definitely. I got into the life coaching business just personal finds, ups and downs. When I was incarcerated, I started studying psychology and, how the mind works and how relationships affect pretty much everything that men and women do. It's all about relationships, be it sexual, be it, business, be it whatever, marriage, be it, working a girlfriend. Everything is based on relationships and connection. And, good relationships produce good fruit. Bad relationships produce bad fruit. So I just started putting stuff on social media for free on Instagram, and I created a small following. Different ladies started reaching out to me, DMing me, and a lady in the sorority asked if she booked me, and I didn't know nothing about the lane. I knew about concerts. I knew how much I'm worth doing a show, but I gave her the same numbers I was doing if I was rapping. She said, okay, we'll pay you this and pay you that. Half first, half the other half before you perform. Give me a room. Here's my rider. I go to this event. It's probably 500, 499 women with one man there, all women. And I just said, okay, I'm just going to talk about me, being an ex-womanizer, an ex-manipulator, an ex-user, an ex-mental abuser, playing the game, playing on women's heart. And then I talked about what I do today as far as how I respect women, how I look at women. I have a daughter now, so I move different. And they just felt the authenticity, and they felt the energy, and it was all real. And I was just giving them some pinpoints. I'm like telling people, like, hey, if he is not doing this, doing this, doing this, and he's a grown man, he probably ain't going to change. And you still waiting on this man to marry you after 10 years, you're wasting your time and your energy. And you saving yourself for nothing. And I kept it real with them, and they start booking me. I call it underground because I'm coming from a place where I used to talk crazy. A lot of cussing, a lot of, different things in my music, and it was very disrespectful. So now I just came 360 degrees now, and I'm motivating women. They like it. It's still authentic. It's still kind of raw, but they tap into me. I get DMs every day. I was booked a lot before COVID. I'm starting to go back on the road doing speaking engagements. So I just kind of transferred from, I'm still an artist, and I look at it like art. But, I'm a life coach. I'm Ron C, and, I'm a businessman, and I'm started grinding and staying relevant, pushing my brand. If anybody listening to this show want to book me, my email is bookroncarey@gmail.com. You can call me directly at 702-907-6629. I'm on Instagram at Ron Carey. I'm on Facebook, Ron Carey, and I'm not hard to find. I go anywhere in the world. I come to Canada. Feel me?
And I got to say, I bet you any money, man, that, Canada most definitely will welcome you with open arms, man. You know what I mean? Because I do know we got a lot of hip-hop fans down here, and I do know that a lot of individuals love booking public speakers as well. So anybody's listening, let's make it happen, man. Let's get Ron C to the Great White North.
Yeah, let's do it. Never been there. Can't wait to come.
But I got to ask you, because I know, as you said, we just spoke about, your underground life coaching and whatnot, and also your new record that you're working on. But I gotta ask, what is next for Ron C? Is there anything we happen to miss during this interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves.
Appreciate that opportunity. Yeah, the record, the first single gonna be. It's already done. I actually got made with Kirk Franklin. The guy who made his first 3 albums is a good friend of mine named Bobby Sparks. He produced those first 3 albums. He made all those hits for Kirk Franklin. So he's a friend of mine. Again, we were chalking it up. He's the one who said, man, you should get back in the game. Let's make a record. I was like, I don't know. He played a track for me, and it was not gospel. It's hip-hop. It's dope. He plays everything live. So I made the song, and I love it. So the first record's going to be called I Don't Cheat, produced by Bobby Sparks. We're going to push that within the next month or so. We're going to put the single out first. And then after that, the time I'm going on the road, I'm actually working on a book called I Motivate Me, and it's basically a help book, relationships, dealing with situations where you have a spouse or a brother or a son or a daughter incarcerated, living that fast life. It's just pretty much a tool for you to use where you can say, hey, I read this guy's book, I heard his story, he made some money, he did 7 or 8 albums, he's been around the world, he lost it all, came back and did it again, and he's still relevant. I'm going to listen to this guy because I can relate to him. A lot of these kids, I'm older than them, but I still relate to them, and they can't really just like do anything slick to me because I've already did everything slick. So I relate to them, and I'm relevant. So I think they're gonna enjoy the book. So we're doing a single, we're doing the book, and we're getting back on the road with the Ron Carey Life Coach, and possibly get on the road with Nemesis to do some new music and go out there or do old music and go out there on the road and just touch some people and let the people feel the music.
And I gotta say, it sounds like 2021, man, is definitely the year for Ron C, man. For me personally, as a fan, it's good to hear that you're getting back into the music, man. I'm really excited to hear what the seventh solo record will actually bring to the table.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for reaching out, man. I got tips from you guys, of course, because of the internet. And nowadays, the internet is so dope. You can just meet people from all over the world. I did a podcast like 2 days ago with some lady in Africa, and I've never been to Africa. She told me I got fans in Africa, and if they didn't know I was Ron C, they just Coach Ron. So this internet's a beautiful thing, man. So I appreciate your platform. Thank you for talking to me. I support your business. You guys need any help out here in the States, holler at me. If you ever need me back on, I'll do it. Hopefully when I get out there, I can shake your hand, man. And I just want to say thank you, sir.
Hey, I gotta say, you're most certainly welcome, man. But I gotta thank you quickly before we part ways, Ron. Like I said, I grew up a huge fan of your music, man, and your music most definitely helped me get through a lot of difficult times myself. So thank you for just creating music that not only myself, but thousands upon thousands of individuals worldwide could relate to, and also help them get through their terrible times in their life. So thank you for that, Ron.
Oh man, that's dope, man. That's dope, man. So let me know the next interview, man, so I can tap in and check out the next person you get. I see you got a lot of dope artists on your show. I seen I'm on your page now. I'm a big supporter, man. So let me know if I can help you guys, man. And again, big great, boss.
Most definitely, man. Anything you need as well, don't hesitate to reach out, Ron. Thank you so much, and most definitely, we shall talk soon.
I'm gonna send you the new record once I get done, man. So be looking for that.
Hey, man, most definitely. If you send it, I'm going to spin it, and I'm going to place it in heavy rotation as well.
100, man. God bless.
God bless, brother. Thank you.